In my third year at college, I encountered a girl named Leah during a sociology lecture. She was the exact opposite of me, fearless, self-assured, always surrounded by a crowd that seemed captivated by her every word. Meanwhile, I was the quiet type, tucked away a few rows back in Sociology 301, diligently taking notes and blending into the background of the lecture hall. Our lives didn't seem destined to intersect, but during a group project, I made a joking remark that caused her laughter to ripple through the room. My heart skipped when her bright, piercing eyes locked with mine. From that moment, I was hooked. Leah had an effortless charm that drew people in, making everyone around her feel lucky just to be near her. For a while, I felt like one of those fortunate few. We started chatting more often, exchanging late-night texts, and sneaking in quick coffee breaks between classes. But as we grew closer, something uncomfortable began to surface. When it was just the two of us, she was warm, considerate, and even seemed vulnerable at times. However, in front of others, she changed completely. Her words became sharp, her tone biting, and her humor often came at the expense of others. At first, I told myself it was just her playful sarcasm, aimed broadly at everyone. But gradually, her comments turned personal, targeting my worn-out jacket, my quiet demeanor, and the way I sometimes stumbled over my words. Her friends would laugh, and I would force a smile, pretending the words didn't hurt. It wasn't only what she said, it was how she allowed others to join in the teasing without defending me, or how she casually mentioned other guys she was chatting with, glancing at me to see how I'd react, as if reminding me I was just one option among many. The worst part was that I ignored it. I kept reaching out, waiting for her replies, making excuses for her behavior. I convinced myself that with patience, she would eventually see me differently, that one day she'd truly appreciate me. Everything fell apart one evening at a party hosted by a mutual friend. Leah was in her element, drink in hand, commanding the room's attention. She would drag me into conversations only to make me the target of her jokes. At one point, she called me her loyal shadow right in front of everyone, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The room erupted in laughter, but my face flushed and my heart raced. For the first time, I didn't laugh along or fake a smile. I nodded shortly and walked away. That night, I didn't reply to her messages. I ignored her casual "you good?" text accompanied by a teasing emoji. When she sent a follow-up, "What's up with you?" the next day, I stayed silent. For the first time since we met, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Initially, Leah seemed unfazed by my sudden distance. Then the text poured in. "Why are you acting so strange? And where did you disappear to?" One evening, she showed up at my doorstep unexpectedly, standing quietly in the frame of my door, looking smaller and less confident than ever. "It feels like you're trying to hurt me," she whispered, her voice soft and almost broken. "Why are you pulling away?" In that moment, I finally saw her clearly. Not the dazzling, untouchable girl I had admired, but someone deeply insecure, depending on others' attention to hide her own doubts. I told her the truth. I cared about her, but I also valued myself enough to stop chasing someone who treated me like a joke in public while confiding in me privately. I deserved better than to be her emotional punching bag. She stared at me, stunned, as if no one had ever confronted her before. She didn't apologize sincerely, just stood waiting for me to give in. But I didn't. I wish I could say Leah changed overnight and became the person I hoped she could be. But people like her only transform when they want to, if they ever do. What did change was me. I stopped waiting for someone to pick me. I stopped mistaking cruelty for closeness. Slowly, I started attracting people who saw me for who I truly was, not as a background figure, but as someone worth valuing and knowing. I still see Leah from time to time, through mutual friends, around town at overlapping social events. She looks at me differently now. Her gaze lingers a little longer. Her laughter sounds softer. Maybe she reflects on the times I revolved around her, or wonders what might have been if she hadn't pushed me away. But I don't dwell on it anymore. I lived through it, I grew stronger, and I walked away wiser. Sometimes, The bravest choice is to stop chasing those who never truly notice you. Leaving isn't defeat, it's recognizing your own value. People like Leia depend on your silence to hold their power. But when you stop giving them that control, everything changes, not to hurt them, but to free yourself. I didn't need her apology or closure. All I needed was to choose myself. And when I did, my whole world shifted.